Brew Show. I'm Nighthawk, one of your hosts. The one you haven't seen lately on here because of technical problems and all that, and just physical problems. So I want to apologize. We're going to be making up for that, hopefully, very, very soon. Um, there's a few things. The reason I started early this morning, 10 minutes early, is because I have several things I need to go over with everybody. Plus, I think we're going to really to be what's going on with our planet. Okay, with our rivers and our lakes and this sea creatures and all kinds of stuff. Okay, so I'm going to start off with that, and then we're going to bring Dennis and G on when they come in, and we'll go from there. Okay, so basically, I'm going to have a little bit of a news segment before we get into the topics. Okay, so current event type of stuff. Now, the copyright disclaimer is that this channel may use some copyrighted materials without specific authorization of the owner, but contends that it falls under the Fair Use Act of Copyright Act of 1976, Section 107. Okay. Nighthawk, High Strange, podcast channel, and all the podcasts claim fair use of any and all content to be used for the sole purposes of criticism, commentary, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, research, parody, and general knowledge and criticism only. Fair use is permitted by the copyright statute of 1976. So that being said, we've got that base covered. Plus, I got the FBI warning up in the corner there, as you can see. That way they don't try to discredit me because I'm putting some news and current events in this podcast. So let me take that off of there so you can actually see me for a brief second until I change the screen. Let me come on now. Come on. Oh, this computer. Alrighty, let's get that off of there. All right. Okay, now I'm not going to be able to go to the comments right away, but I will get to them here in a little bit, okay? Yeah, I'm wearing one of my favorite shirts that my wife got me. It says, "I'm a dad and a veteran. I'm not afraid of anything," which, hey, that's me. Anyways, pretty much this morning, there's a lot of things that struck me as well. Let's just put it this way: struck me as weird. Okay, a lot of things going on in our world right now. That you don't see mainstream media talking about it, and you can barely see the coverage on the internet. Okay, you know, everybody knows, being of native blood, indigenous blood, that we have a connection to Mother Earth. Okay, we have a connection to all the animals, and in that we consider that the circle, the sacred hoop. Okay, and that hoop has remained shattered for a long time now, for hundreds and hundreds of years. Okay, especially here in the United States. Um, there are some people out there that are so pro environment that they're harming the animals. There's some people out there that are so animal they're harming the environment. There's some people out there that are so pro living their lives that they're doing things out there that they shouldn't be doing. Okay, like driving down the road and flicking a cigarette out the window. Okay, or throwing that piece of trash on the ground instead of sticking it in the garbage where it belongs, or not recycling, stuff like that. Just simple stuff. Okay, simple stupid stuff. Okay, now that being said, um one thing is it's weighing heavy on me. And I've been having a lot of trouble breathing lately too, so please bear with me, okay? Because my lungs are failing me. All right. Um, so just bear with me. Um, one thing that I'm struggling with lately is what's happening to our oceans. You see it everywhere. You see hundreds of whales washed up on shore. Here recently, we have octopus that are crawling out onto the beaches to die. To die. Okay, we have literally seen killer whales or orcas um, attacking vessels, sharks attacking vessels with people on them. We have seen more recently sea lions jumping up on board boats and stuff and ships, and trying to interact with humans. Um, I don't know how much more plain I can say it, but it's like, what does it take? What's it going to take for us to just wake up? What's it going to take for us to just realize that the no-legged, the two-legged, the four-legged, the winged, the flippered, water creatures, they're trying to communicate to us. They're trying to communicate that sacred hoop needs to be fixed. It needs to be mended. It needs to be repaired at all costs. Okay. Now, there's this whole controversy of, President, so and so Joe Blow from Delaware, how he's just screwed up, with the gasoline prices and everything. And yes, I have gasoline vehicles. Okay, at least I had a truck, still needs repaired. But my wife's car, we have gasoline vehicle. Okay, but so gas prices affect us too. In fact, just yesterday we went to put some gas in her car, and it was $4 a gallon. $4 a gallon, Mr. Biden. That itself is frustrating. And then I started thinking about, how Elon Musk is trying to do all this stuff to like improve our environment and improve the lower class, finances. He's got some AI investment program now I've seen on the internet. I've checked it out. I researched it. He's saying that if a poor person could invest $2,000, they could make 100 times that in like 10 years. Huh. Most poor people I know, first off, they don't have $2,000. Okay. Okay. If I did, it'd be going to the truck to get it fixed, or back to my landlord. Um, but you know, it's getting frustrating. Okay, it's getting to the point where the frustration is getting overwhelming. Okay, and I put out these short videos every day to everybody, to kind of wake people up. To kind of wake your third eye up, to wake you up, to have you realize that there is so much going on in the world right now because of us and because of other species wanting to interact with us. Okay. Some people will claim, oh, it's the end of times, and it's been biblically prophesied, and well, I'm not truly set that it's the end of times. Okay. We're in drastic times, but I'm not genuinely 100% convinced yet that we are in the end of times. Okay. Because first off, you need the two prophets. Okay. The two witnesses, I mean. Okay. The two witnesses. Okay. Isaiah and Enoch. Where are they? Can anybody out there? Plus, you need to be able to see through all the false prophets and the fake preachers and all this other biblical stuff. Okay. The drying up of the Euphrates, which yes is drying up, but it's not drying up because of the environment. It's drying up because of all the dams being built on the Euphrates and people hoarding the water from the people further downstream from them. So that's why the Euphrates is drying up. Okay. So I'm just going to put that out there. Also, we have right now, like I said, sea creatures committing kamikaze style suicide going on shores. We have whales, octopi, we have fish, we have sea lion, you have all kinds of weird things washing up on shores. Yeah, there's a lot of weird stuff going on, but we have to realize that reflects right back to us. Okay, because until that sacred hoop is mended, we're not going to have the paradise that we want. Okay, and it's going to take everybody to mend that sacred hoop. Okay, not just one religion, not just one political party, not just the left, not just the right, not just the Russians, not just the Chinese, not just the Americans, the Canadians, the Australians, the Indonesians. It's going to take everybody as a group effort. Everybody. I had somebody refer to me the other day as I'm not sure how to pronounce it in Seneca. My wife would know. Gaijuia, the peacemaker, and I don't feel like that even suits me because I've done so much in my life to skirt around with being in the military and all that and everything I've done. So being a rebel, for the American Indian movement, and all that. So I've done a lot of my time that that wouldn't be considered as a peace. Okay, but there is a lot. There is a lot of situations, let's say, okay, that are happening to and the wildlife trying to wake us up. You've got the volcanoes. Look at Iceland. In fact, I'm going to pull up a picture of Iceland. Okay, of all places that you would think would not have a problem. I want you to take a look at Iceland. Is that the kind of world we want? Is that the kind of that we want our children to grow up in? Is that the kind of world that we want for our brothers and sisters that are the wildlife and nature to live in? Because that's not living. That right there is hell. Hell on earth. Here's another picture. You have volcanoes going off in Hawaii. You have volcanoes going off in Italy and in Africa, in Malaysia, and all over around the world. You have Yellowstone. Okay, and yes, this is Yellowstone here. Okay, this is the part of the caldera. Okay, and you have Yellowstone that is supposed to go off pretty soon, the supervolcano. Okay. Did you know that in Yellowstone, every day, they have over 40 to 50 earthquakes every day? And we're not 9, we're talking 4.0, 4.2, 3.8. We're talking substantial rumbles in the ground. Okay. We're talking that we need to realize that these are all warning signs that unless we correct our ways, the inevitable is going to happen. And when that Yellowstone blows its top, it's going to affect the entire world, not just the U.S. So Putin and whatever your name is, all you other world leaders, every world leader out there needs to hear my voice. It affects everyone when Yellowstone. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. It affects last 20 years, I think they said, and this is at my own research, okay, that 20 years the caldera has risen a foot, 12 inches. We're not talking millimeters, we're talking 12 inches. That means the magma chamber is growing. Okay, it's filling. Now, what do you think happens when something fills? What if you overfill a 2-liter bottle of water or a gallon jug of water? What happens? The water comes out the top. Easiest way to go. Water seeks the least resistance. Lava does the same thing. Molten lava does the same exact thing. Okay. So, we got to keep that in consideration, everybody. These are just a couple points I wanted to go over with you all before we started to get into any of the topics. I'm going to see what Dennis and Geryl would like to talk about this morning. But I want to say thank you to everybody before we get into that. So let me get back here to the comment section and say hello to everybody, okay? And I'm sorry for starting it off this way, but that's something that we need to realize. We need to make sure we have a place for everything that our Creator made here, okay? And He made it all for us. He made it all for us. Oh, happy birthday, Tombstone, by the way. We take advantage of things, and that's our human nature. We are constantly taking advantage of situations of nature, the environment, of animals, of we don't go to the difficult fishing hole. We go to the easy fishing hole. Think about it. We don't walk to the mailbox anymore. We drive to the mailbox. We don't, or we take our, if you're, like some of these folk out there have these golf carts, you'll drive your golf cart to your mailbox, or your side by side to the mailbox and get your mail, And I can see if you're living on a 150-acre ranch, or something like that. But my God, mankind has started to take the easy way out of everything. Okay. That's my point. Until we mend that sacred hoop, we mend that sacred hoop, and we get mankind back on track and in sync with the environment and with the animals and with everything and the energies. You know, I think then we're going to have a good chance. Okay. So, and like I said, also, I'm not completely 100% set to call right now what's happening right now, currently, the end of times. You know, I have yet, we all about project, we all know about, Project Looking Glass and all that. And these are all things that our government does behind our backs to try to manipulate us like they do through TV, and radio and, cell phone signal. Okay, you just don't realize it because you're not awake yet. Okay, you need to wake up. Somebody needs to wake you up. You know, because we let our governments run over us for too long. They have ruined our worlds. They've ruined our way of life. Okay, and not just our government, all governments. The UN. The UN is who I hold completely responsible for this. Okay. Um, and they need to answer for what they've done. Okay, they do. They've turned the world against us. Okay, they've turned each other against us. They've turned white against black, black against white, red against everybody. I mean, the Asian against the Christian, and so forth. I mean, it's they've done this for and we've let them get away with it for too long. Okay. So I'm going to end my rant there at 24 minutes and 44 seconds. So mark that as match, game over. And we are going to start talking about some things here that Dennis and G and I haven't had a chance to talk about in a while. And I'm going to let them, rehash if they want to bring up some things that I pointed out this morning. Like the sea life that's committing suicide and all that, and the strange things happening. So, Dennis, how are you doing? And G?
Morning.
How you doing?
All right. So I know I kind of went off on a rant this morning, but I wanted to start it off a little early and go over that because it's something that needs to be realized that, a lot of us complain about the way things are going and, what's happening in the world, but yet we don't realize that we caused it ourselves. We are the ones that shattered the sacred hoop. We're the ones that shattered that or pulled the spider's web that connects us all. Because remember what Chief Seattle said, what we do to the web, we do to ourselves because we're all connected in this life, and I can't help but think, we had so many chances to make change over history, but we failed because we let our government dictate to us what we should do. Okay. When the governments around the world actually work for us, we pay them. They don't pay us. We pay them. So, but I don't know. That was my rant this morning. So how do you guys do?
Doing good.
Yep. Busy. As usual. Of course, that keeps me out of trouble most of the time. Sometimes that makes it trouble, but that's another story. But it's been some. I was just looking what Jessica said there. These are very definitely strange days, and they're getting even stranger by the moment. It seems like, And I told somebody the other day, I think a lot of this paranormal supernatural activity is taking place because we're paying a lot more attention to it than we have ever done before. And you all both know that the closer
Yep.
you look at the paranormal, the closer it looks back at you. That's just the way that goes. And I think that's got a lot to do with it too. But there are other forces, I think, out there, dark forces that are precipitating a lot of this, like CERN and some of these other, and all this dark science that we've talked about before. It's definitely cause for a lot of this stuff. And what really bothers me, and the more I look into it, the more it really gets to me, is the fact that there are people cooperating with these forces, whether it be through black and evil magic or the black arts, whether it be selling their soul, and we know Hollywood's good at that, selling their soul out for those that want. They're cooperating with this stuff, and that's ones we really got to watch out for, because they're definitely our enemies too. They're the enemies of mankind. Truth and light, and I've said this before. The only way that we can ever hope to defeat these things is with truth and light. You know, that's the way it's gonna. That's the way that's gonna have to roll. That's my little rant this morning.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that without a doubt. The more I look into it, the more it disturbs me.
Yeah.
I know it does you both that way too.
Yeah.
You know.
Disturbing. It's very, very, very disturbing. Knowing what's happening nowadays, it's very disturbing. And knowing that we have a chance to correct it, or at least work towards some kind of correction for the future of our children and grandchildren. You know, mankind's population is dropping. It is, this BS of overpopulation in 2050 or 2060 is exactly that. It's BS. Our population numbers aren't drastically, and I'll tell you why. Because of the hidden agenda. Okay, the powers that be that are in control, like big pharma, BlackRock, government secret agencies, just the UN, all of them, they're all working in conjunction with each other right now, to basically keep humanity suppressed to the point and so downtrodden that they're easier to control. And it's all, if you're going to control something, you start with the narrative. Okay. You control the narrative, you control the conversation. Okay. When you control the conversation, you can dictate where you want to take the conversation and where you want to take society as a whole. Okay. And, that's exactly what's happening. We've let them dictate to us for too long now. Like I mentioned earlier, the project Blue Beam, that everybody's talking about, with the fake alien invasion. Yes, people, aliens are real. Okay. Yeah. Anybody that thinks we are the only brain thinking humanoid type of a being in the complete entire multiverse is nuts. There are things out there a lot more intelligent than we are. And I can name one of them right now. There are two of them right now on this planet that are supposed to be lower life forms than us, but they're smarter than us. Okay. One is the buffalo and the wolf. Okay. Because they know what's good for the group benefits everybody. past, present, and future. Okay, so that's why they are pack mentality. Okay, and octopus, soulless creature, knows where it came from. Could be alien. Could it be alien? Yeah, octopi could be, but you know they're smart. They adapt very well. Okay, there was an octopi that used to sneak out of its container cell, a female octopi, and go into a fish tank several yards away in this aquarium area and hunt for fish, and then go back over to its tank before the owner of the shop came out in the morning to open. You know, that's how smart they are. You know, they're not stupid. And for us to assume that everything around us is dumb and ignorant more than we are makes us the dumbest animal on the planet. Geryl, you're quiet.
I'm just listening.
Wake up, hello, Geryl. He's napping again with his eyes open. I know. I've done that too.
I just kind of got lost in conversation, just kind of listening to see where you were going with this.
Yeah. Well, when we get started, you just have to grab a hook and hold on, and join in. But it's definitely, what you said there, William, about some of that stuff like that.
Yeah,
To me,
yeah.
it's getting worse. I mean, we can see around us that all this is getting worse and worse, and there's got to be a reason why. You always have to step back and look and say, why? Why is this going on? And another thing that bothers me is about this new movie, Sound of Freedom. Why are certain people fighting so hard against this movie and the message it's trying to put out? They're smearing this movie. They're trying to tear it down or ignore it completely. You have to ask why. Why are they doing it? I'll tell you why. Because it's threatening them. Okay, it's threatening to expose them and their the nefarious plans, you might say, the things that they're up to. That's why you have to step back a lot of times, don't you think so, Geryl? And just say, why? Why is this going on?
Yep, exactly. Yeah, if they don't have their fingers in it, then what do they have to worry about?
Mm-hmm. Well, when they start kind of getting nervous, sweating a little bit, you probably, push the right buttons. Probably that's just the way that goes. But that's good. That's good. You want to keep pushing your enemy's buttons, And I want to tell you what, folks, listening today, just like William said earlier, these forces are our enemy. Okay, we got to look at them that way. We can't be nonchalant about it. We've got to say, hey, these are the bad guys, and they're out to do some bad things to us. So we wouldn't be complacent with it. We should actually start stepping up to bat as warriors, spiritual warriors of truth and light. We need to step up against these forces. If we don't, they're going to get us. They're going to win.
Well, we kind of lost the mentality of our, I'm going to say forefathers, grandfathers. They would come out and speak against all this stuff, and they would actually, be involved in their communities and in their government, locally, and however they want to get involved, and they would speak out against all this stuff. That's why it didn't happen or wasn't in the forefront way back. But now everybody just kind of stays home and is like, well, if it doesn't come in my yard, I don't like it, but as long as it leaves me alone, I'm just gonna kind of leave it off to the side.
Yeah, that's true. But I feel it is getting worse. Not just that we're more attentive to it now than we have been before. I think it's getting worse. People know this. Just like a lot of things are going on with the climate, the weather. There are forces manipulating a lot of the stuff in the background. And that's what we've got to realize, that these are the true enemies of mankind. Okay, that's what they are. They're enemies of our creator and us, everything that's good in this universe. And we can't cooperate with them. We've got to push back. We've got to start pushing back.
Yep. Yep, exactly. And one thing that we need to really remember to do is back the people that we know have the common good for us and our environment and all of our, you know, our spiritually connected brothers and sisters out there. To me, when you look at a situation, if it involves an animal, first off, I don't see it as just an animal. I see it as my brother or my sister or my cousin, because of that connection. Okay. I don't look at it as just, that's like saying a dog's just a dog. Well, sorry. Try to tell Tracy and me that about Jacob, and we're going to tell you no, he's more than just a dog. He is our son. He's our son. Okay. That's the sacred connection. That's the sacred connection that we need to heal. We need to have perspective on everything.
Well, in law enforcement, I met a lot of people that were, I guess you would call low lifes. The way they acted and the lives that they led, you wouldn't want to bring them home for dinner. Let's put it that way. But everyone, I've always felt, this is just me personally. Everyone, to me, deserves respect, because that's your fellow man. That's your fellow human being, and they're a child of God. In my eyes, and they all deserve that measure of respect, even though sometimes they don't give you that respect back. They disrespect you. That's not your problem. Okay, that's their problem. Don't make it your problem. That's the way I've always looked at it. If they've got a problem, don't make it your problem. Okay. um, the only one you can do anything about is punching your own ticket. That's it. You can't do how other people react to you. But there comes a point where you can't let them make a rug out of you and wipe their feet on you. You can't let them try to overwhelm you or take over you or manipulate you or use you. And people are very good at using people. Okay. I can't stand people like that. They just want to use you and get whatever they can get out of you, and that's it. There comes a point where you got to say, ho, ho, that's it. Stop. You've crossed the line, you know? And when they cross that line,
Exactly.
you got to do something about it then. You got to realize that's just the way life is.
Here's a good here's a good analogy to put things in perspective, to like say G and Jane would be sitting out at night looking at the stars and looking for UFOs and stuff, or moving objects in the sky, and whether it be asteroids, meteors, whatever, comets, shooting stars. Night out here to look for UFOs. If we didn't have all those stars in the sky, I mean, it's that kind of mentality, and we shouldn't as human beings have that kind of mentality, but that is the mentality that human beings have. gee, it'd be a beautiful night tonight if the moon wasn't shining. You know, I mean,
Right. Yep.
I don't know. Call it entitlement or what, but it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. That some people have that mentality to we just think that the world and the universe evolves around them instead of it the other way around. So, and
Yeah.
I've always said what you put into this world, the more good you put into the world, the more good you might get out of it. Okay. So, I don't know. That's why I do all those short videos and stuff too to wake people up. I know some people are probably getting sick of my little short little 1 and 2 minute. I do it to remind people every day is another chance. Every minute of that day is another chance. You know, Dennis, I got to ask you something. You being more scholarly in the biblical aspect knowledge of things. I say that I don't personally feel like it's the end of time. I can't say unequivocally that it's the end of times. I in my heart of hearts, I probably know that it's the end of times, but I can't. I just don't see it completely yet. Okay. For one, all the signs are there. I mean, yes, we have the false prophets that are there. But we don't have the two witnesses. We don't have the announcement of the three angels in the sky. We don't have there's a lot of things. There's a lot of things that I just feel that haven't come together completely or meshed completely to unequivocally say that we are in the end times. How do you feel?
Dennis, you want to start?
Hello? Is anybody out there?
Well, I'll go ahead and start. I mean, I believe that we're, just like every generation, our grandfathers, our fathers have all said, the times are getting worse. I mean, everybody feels that, but me and Jane talk about this all the time, sitting in our chairs at night, whether we're watching YouTube or just talking amongst each other, that times are getting difficult for everybody, and we can feel the pressure. We can feel the pains of the earth, coming, and that's in the Bible, and we got, mentions of wars and signs in the heavens. And, it's just like everything's coming through from, what we've always read in the Bible, and all the teachings we've had. I mean, we feel that ourselves, that we're definitely getting closer and closer. Are we there yet? I don't think so. I mean, just like you always say, it's going to get worse before it gets worse. I mean, no man knows the time or the day or the hour. So could it be tomorrow? Absolutely. Could it be a year from now? Maybe. I mean, it seems like there's always just that little bit more time and time, we keep thinking, okay, we got to be on the edge. But then there's always, it seems like another year rolls around, and we go through even more stuff.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I agree. And they talk about they talk about the Euphrates drying up too, Dennis. But I see the Euphrates drying up because of what the countries that are upstream in the Euphrates are doing to keep the water for themselves. Now, in the Bible, I know that one of the signs is the Euphrates drying up and the four angels that are locked underneath the ground coming forth, which are, I believe it's the four horsemen of the apocalypse, which is death, pestilence, famine, and death, pestilence, famine, death, pestilence. Oh man, I just drew a blank. Death, pestilence, famine, and disease. Anyways, you all get the point. Like I said, I'm not a biblical scholar, but I see it drying up, but I see it more because of what like other countries are doing to keep the water for themselves, because of their certain needs. And the Euphrates, as big as the Mississippi River, if not bigger, to supply all those barren, dry countries, probably should have dried up a long time ago, to tell you the truth. But I'm just not sure and convinced 100% that the Euphrates drying up because man-made creation is the sign. Is it the sign? Of the end of times. That the Euphrates is drying up. Is the reason that the Euphrates is going to be part of the biblical prophecy drying up, supposed to be manipulated by mankind? That part of the prophecy isn't informed.
Well, I'm sure the Euphrates drying up has a lot to do with the mismanagement of land, definitely, that a lot of these nations are doing or ignoring, actually, probably, has been the cause of a lot of this. But there are some very severe droughts going on, too, at the same time. And we know that these patterns run throughout history, okay? I've been studying a lot about the lost continent that's it was in between, in the North Sea between Britain and Sweden. It was called Doggerland. And it was once a plain that people lived on it and all that. And at the close of the Ice Age, water began to rise because the ice began to melt, the ice, the glaciers and all that. And it finally inundated Doggerland. It's still there. You have to dive to see it. You have to go down in the ocean to see a lot of this stuff. But what struck me is the world is a living thing. Okay, we've got to realize this planet that we live on is a living thing, just like we're living, and it goes through changes from time to time. Some of them may be good, some of them may be bad, But biblical prophecy takes this into account. Biblical prophecy knows this. Yep. And who is the author of our destiny? Our creator. He knows all about it. If you're the writer, you know how it's going to turn out. You know how you're creating it as it goes along, you're writing it out, you know what's coming down the line on it. Our creator knows that. And here's the interesting thing that we all need to kind of realize today. No matter what happens in this world, no matter what the political situation or the wars or whatever goes on, and we know all of this is coming, that was the signs of the end time, the rumors of wars and rumors of wars and all these other different signs. We know this is coming. We know it's slowly taking place in front of our eyes, right even now as we speak. We know it's 2,000 years sooner than it was predicted back in the Bible than it was then. It's 2,000 years closer. We've got to realize that too. But nothing that we do as human beings on this planet, there's nothing that we actually do politically wise or even war wise that's going to change the real scope of history. Intervention of our creator is going to be what really, in the end, tells the whole story. He's going to have to intervene. It's not us. It's not left up to us to do that. It's him. He's the one that's going to intervene. He's the one that's going to take charge eventually. Why? Because this world, not the planet now, this world, the world system around us is corrupt. We know that. And it's riddled with sin and evil and darkness. This whole world thing around us is going to have to be dealt with eventually. But this world system was stolen from our creator. We got to realize that it was stolen, just like you go steal somebody's car or their wallet. This world was stolen from our creator, and he's going to get it back. There's no doubt about that. You know, when somebody steals your stuff, what do you? The number one thing you want to do? You want to go get it back. You know, that's just the way it goes. And our creator is going to get this back, his world back, because it was stolen, and we got to realize that. You know?
Yeah, true. Now, what per se do you guys think? You know, and I'll put this to everybody in chat. Hey, Ray and Stuart, thank you guys for being here. Val, Freaky Geek, No, Aussie Sue, Tombstone, Tracy. Just I want to thank everybody for being here this morning. I can't remember who all is in here. I know Dave and Melissa are. Let me see. Hey, gotta have Juno. You know, he is definitely my brother. So, and you know, Juno, man, it got close, Juno. Just so you know, it got close this past week. We might have been at your doorstep, man, camping out with you there in Mexico. Just so you know. But God, the Creator actually blessed us with, people giving up to kind of, help out to save the house a little bit. We're not quite there yet, but we're getting there. So, but anyways, thank you all for being here. Without you guys, Ray, it's really good to see you because I haven't seen you in a while, buddy. And of course, Ozzy Sue. I see Ozzy everywhere. Ozzy and Tombstone, and I see Freaky Geek everywhere. Val's everywhere. They're all pitching in, helping out all these podcasts, and they're phenomenal moderators. Thank you all very, very much for everything you do to help out this channel. I can't thank you enough. In fact, I've gone so far as to order a few more things for the moderators of the channel that I would like to mail to them specifically, and to gift them something, because to be honest, past 7 to 10 days, a couple of days there, I did feel like I was dying. I couldn't get my breath. I couldn't hardly even talk. And it's still, I'm sure you can tell by gasping for air that it still does that. But I'm having difficulty. But I just, I thank everybody for being here, and especially the moderators for helping out. Yolanda, good to see you on here. So thank you to everybody that's in the chat. Now, getting back to the subject at hand, do you guys think that I do. I believe that a lot of the paranormal activity, the reoccurrence of ghosts and stuff that we see is spirit realm. And the cryptid activity that we're seeing. I do believe that those. Now, I'm not sure that, oh, I think they lost me. All right. I'm not sure that that is so seen and a lot more lately, but I would assume that it has a lot to do with it being the end of the times. And I know somewhere in the Bible it talks about how the dead in Christ will rise. Do you believe that that's a lot of people assume that that necessarily means that there's going to be zombies walking around, and then all this. That's not it at all. The dead in spirit will arise in spirit form, is what I believe. And that in its seems would be like a full-bodied apparition. And if you've noticed, a lot of the paranormal activity increased has said that they've seen full bodies apparitions. And so that very well could be a sign of the times. How do you all feel about that? I want to hear everybody in a chat, about that. And Dennis and G, do you guys activity is because of it?
I mean, I've said here recently that I believe that the earth is changing, that the earth, like Dennis was talking about earlier, that the earth is changing, and whether you consider it, the axis changing or whatever, but I think the earth is going through a dispensation that is going to be going to a different frequency, a different level, that it's changing. So we're like fleas on a dog. So either we go along with the ride and change with it, our frequencies and our, we go to a different level with it, or we will cease to exist. I mean, I think that's why we're seeing all this activity. I think either you want to say dimensional people or cryptids or aliens or whatever you want, they're all coming here to watch this earth change. It's like whether we're going to have a great reset or we're going to have just this phenomenal thing where the earth is going to go into a different phase in its life. And I think they're coming in to watch it.
Well, I think a lot about this. I know CERN and all that's been blamed for a lot of stuff that's going on, a lot of strange reality shifts and the Mandela effect and a lot of other different things. I realize that too, but I think people are also the precipitants in opening spiritual doorways that allow a lot of these things into our world, into our existence, our reality, whatever name you want to give it. I realize that without a doubt, that our very attitude may be contributing to these factors, not just CERN and that dark science we've often talked about. And I know that's another reason for it, definitely, for a lot of this weird, strange activity that's going on in the world. But the interesting thing is that I think our spirituality, as this time gets closer to the end, our spirituality is rising more so than it has ever done before. Our vibration, or whatever name you want to tag it with, is rising spiritually, and we're more susceptible and more noticeable of these things than ever before. And a lot of this may be caused by the halogen collider, a lot of this experimentation that's going on. And we know that back through time, people like Jack Parsons, Aleister Crowley, the list goes on and on. We're fooling around with this stuff. We know that. And I've heard a lot. I know some of my sources have told me that there is a very big rise, and I don't want to get the witches mad at me here, okay? But there is a very big rise in the use of witchcraft, and I'm not talking about good witchcraft. I'm talking about the dark arts. There's a big rise in that going on in the world today. A lot of people don't realize this, but this is true. And the satanic forces are also at work doing their thing, their black masses, their satanic rituals, sacrifices, And a lot of the, children are involved in that, and a lot of the trafficking and all this stuff. So you see, the more evil, the more this dark spirituality rises in the world. The more things are going to take place, and they're not going to be good things. Okay. And we're seeing a lot more of this. We're more in tune with it right now than we have ever been before, I think, in the history of mankind. And we've got to realize that that's going to affect us, though, spiritually. We've got to be very careful. That's going to affect us in a bad way if we're not careful. Definitely.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And
I
like
agree.
also too,
I agree
like also too
100% with
said
that.
there,
Spiritually, and that's
it's like Aussie Sue says there. These forces are manipulating us to turn
yeah.
us
Go ahead.
against each other with racism and dividing us and hatred and suspicion of our fellow man. These forces are playing a mind game and a spiritual game with us, trying to turn us against each other, divide us up so they can what? You divide and conquer. That's the way that works. And I can see that definitely is a factor that we're going to have to deal with in the very near future because they're trying to divide us. They're trying to conquer us this way. And they want it. They would love a big bloodbath. They would love us to turn against each other and destroy ourselves. That's what this force is all about. Destruction. That's what it is. That's what it comes down to. And we've got to realize that. And we don't need to play their game. We don't need to be their pawns in this chess game that they're playing with us. We need to be very careful and be aware. I'm not talking about being woke. Woke is a joke, okay? That's a political thing. I'm talking about being spiritually aware of these things and heightening ourselves this way so that we can understand and discern what is truly going on around us. Because I'm going to tell you this, folks. I warn you about this, and both you guys know what I'm about to say. The world is becoming not only a more dangerous place, but it's becoming a more unstable place. It's hard for us now to really grasp what is the real truth out there anymore. You know? What is the real truth? What is the real reality we see before us? Because these forces are screwing around with our own reality of how we perceive things. So we've got to be very, very careful.
True.
Well, it comes down to each individual has
True.
freedoms,
That's true.
whether it's from our creator above or from our government. So we need to protect ourselves. Our most important things is our mind, body, and soul.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody needs to protect themselves. They need to have the faith. They need to whatever you believe in, whether you believe in a creator or whoever you pray to, you need to protect yourselves, and you need to just do the commandments. Just start with the commandments. Be kind to others.
That's very true, Geryl. That's what I've talked about before, and I think Nighthawk has too in that respect. That spiritual balance we need to seek. That balance between the soul and the mind and the body and the emotions and the mental part of us. All of that needs to be tried. We need to try to balance that because when it's balanced just right, things work better for us. We've got to kind of work on that. That balance is what we mean.
I mean, no matter what we do, this is going to happen. I mean, whether you believe in the Bible or not, whether you believe that the end times are here, whether the end of the world is going to be destroyed, it's going to happen regardless of what we do. I mean, I'd like to think I'd have a more positive aspect in this, but, just love one another, take care of your family, take care of yourself, your friends, live the best world that you can, spread love out there and peace to everybody, and like I said, get your mind, your body, and your soul protected and live the best life that you can during these circumstances. it's not going to do you any good to sit here and worry about everything going to happen in life. Yes, you need to acknowledge it. Yes, you need to stay awake and know that it's happening. But at the same time, you need to keep the oil in your lamp. You don't want to be unprepared. You want to look for the signs, but you need to take care of you and your family and your friends, whether that's love, kindness, peace, whatever you can do, make your world better.
That's true. That's very true. And one more thing I'll add, and here's one more thing we need to look at. Across all religious dimensions, whatever your belief system is, I've noticed one thing very peculiar. Everybody knows something is coming. Everybody knows something is coming.
Yeah. Yeah. How soon is just the main question, though. And what exactly that something is. We all know exactly. We all is. But you see history dictated at such a short span of time for humanity, on just over 2,000 years since Christ was born. And then, millions of kind wasn't around. Well, just recently, they've been finding artifacts and human bones and skeletons buried next to dinosaurs bones. And they found intricate pottery with dinosaurs on them and stuff, and carvings on tomb walls and stuff. So I think somewhere along the lines, it went from a different time frame to the AD time frame of the whole 365 days a year, 24 hours in a day. I don't know. Add things up, to be analytical and add things up numerically wise. Some of these things just don't make a lot of sense unless you fudge with the numbers and say, you know what, these are generalities and not factual numbers. Because look who's given us the numbers. It's back to the governments and the power and control, the universities, the government, and the scientists, the ones that are in ultimate control over everything. So I do believe that the digital dollar is a sign that we're getting close to the end of times. I do believe that. I believe that digital dollar is also going to usher in, with AI, the mark of the beast. I really do. But that being said, I've heard several different theories on just exactly what the mark of the beast is. Is it a chip in the wrist or in the forehead? Is it a tattoo? Is it a mark? Is it or is it like our number on the back of our social security card, or is it a credit? I mean, I've heard so many different things about the mark of the beast being a specific thing over time. And so far, only thing, the digital dollar would be my guess. So
well, I've been doing a lot of heavy research into AI. I'm watching it. I'm keeping a very close eye on it. Okay. And they're now developing programs for AI that will allow us to go into the womb and manipulate the DNA before birth in the very early stages of life. That's scary when you think about that for just a moment. And also, listen to this, they are developing programs that would manipulate the human brain in the womb in order to perhaps spiritual concepts or psychic abilities. What we're looking at is this. What if AI decides not to wipe us out because we're imperfect and it's better than we are? What if it says maybe I can make these humans better? You know, what are we looking at? A common race, a coming race of super beings, superhuman beings? Is that what they want to create? It's that same old super soldier thing over again that Hitler was so interested in. And AI is grasping it, by the way. It keeps coming back. It haunts us. This super thing that's making humans better, smarter, stronger. AI may have a hand in that as well. So this should be bothering people. I mean, when they start manipulating DNA and all this other stuff, this is not good. This is playing God. You know, that's what I talk about. That book I'm writing now, the God game. That's what I'm talking about here. They're playing this game. This Frankenstein story is being played out again. And the monster, which is AI, which and it will soon be a monster, my friend, if they're not careful. This monster's going to turn on us. Okay. And here's the bad thing about the monster. Okay. Frankenstein's monster is part of us. That's what it's made up by us too. It's part of us. So we are turning against our own selves in that respect. But the monster is us in the end. Okay, it's not just AI because we created AI. Okay, don't forget that. You know, that's the bad part.
Now, Dennis, have you seen the current topographical image of CERN and their Hadron Collider test that I showed earlier of CERN in operation that I'm pulling up right now?
Well, you know, in order to run the collider, William, you
Give
got
it
to
a
have a
second.
quantum computer. You got to have a quantum computer set up, and the quantum computer is working directly with AI. The AI and the computer, the quantum computer, are going to be one and the same very shortly. When that happens, that's going to put an even newer spin on the collider because when you have a quantum computer, it goes faster, it thinks faster, reacts faster. The collider is all about speed. Don't forget that. That's why the tunnels are so long. It has to reach a certain maximum speed. It always reminds me of the DeLorean in Back to the Future. It had to reach 88 miles an hour to go back to the future or back in the past, whichever the case may be. So does the Hadron Collider. It's got to reach a certain speed in order to explode to implode these particles that they're trying to manufacture and all this stuff to have them smash each other. You got to go a certain speed, and the quantum mechanics of this, the quantum computers, and guess who came out with that first? That was Google, by the way. Quantum computers are going to play a big part in this because this is what is sort of like the right hand of AI. You might kind of put it that way. The quantum computer is. So that's going to be some freaky stuff going on. Definitely.
Right.
You take just an
Yeah, that
example.
just,
Your
that
computer that
picture
you
in
got in
itself
front of
just
you
tells you
right now,
exactly what it does
and the
to
computer might whatever form that
the
computer is,
ions in the atmosphere.
whether it's a tablet or a laptop or whether it's a phone, it's still a computer. Okay, but a quantum computer makes that look like the old tortoise and the hare thing. It looks like a turtle compared to the hare, which is the quantum computer. That's how much faster it is and better. It will eventually. It's going to
Yeah,
revolutionize computing mechanics and all. Definitely.
yeah, yeah. Now I look at that picture. I look at that picture and I see, and you guys are probably going to think this is funny, but I see picture. I can see Atlantis. I can see Atlantis being not just a city, a mystical city on the water, but or on land. I see it as possibly being a maybe it's an interdimensional type of a city that just didn't really fall to the depths of the ocean because of a volcano, maybe, or an earthquake, maybe it in and out.
Well, when you look at that, William,
Maybe
you
it's a
got to
CERN.
remember the CERN collider symbol is a symbol, a stylized symbol of a whirlwind. Although some people say it looks like 666. It is a stylized symbol of a whirlwind. That's what that looks like to me. That's what that reminds me of. And I have to remember the biblical passage of what it says about the evil. They will reap the whirlwind. Really, when you look at that CERN symbol, CERN is actually out of date considering some of its science now. They're talking about building a newer one, long with longer tunnels so that they can do even faster particle acceleration. Um, that's a scary thought too. Or they're talking about also lengthening the tunnels of the one you're looking at right there to do this as well. They're not going to stop manipulating these things, and I don't see it coming out to a good end eventually. I don't know. It's not going to be, I don't think, a very beneficial thing in the end. I could be wrong, but it don't look like it's going to turn out that way.
Well, I'm not really sure what they're trying to prove. I mean, I know they talk about the God particle and all that stuff, but what are we going to learn from this? How are we going to make this beneficial to us in society or for humans by them colliding atoms?
Well, mankind has always been that way, and we're always fooling around with stuff. Probably sometimes we shouldn't fool around with. That's the story of Frankenstein, by the way. He played God. He tried to play God, and we're very good at playing God, but we've got to remember we're very imperfect. We're not real gods. Okay, no matter how much we want to say we are, how much we think we are, we're not really God. Okay, but we play at it, and that's a dangerous, dangerous game. Definitely, and that's what makes me nervous.
Yeah, unfortunately, there are a lot of people out there that are so-called the powers that be in control that believe that they are godlike, that they can compare themselves to God, and they fall so short from that mark that it's almost laughable. So I don't know. I do know this though, that the powers that be have definitely been trying to stop this communication to everybody today, because I've been having to fight a couple times to even keep this on the air. Something is trying to get control of the computer again. Um, if we lose everybody, I'm just gonna say my goodbyes and all that now, and we'll see you all tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Going as long as we can, but just so everybody knows that's listening, in case they do lose us, that we will be back on tomorrow morning. So, okay. And again, I want to thank everybody here too. But there's so many weird, unusual things that the powers that be control every day in our lives. Um, TV was actually invented as a manipulation device, just like radio. Advertising. They tell us what to consume, what to wear, what to drink, what to just everything. How to style our hair. How to shave, and make your landscaping and all that. You know what I mean? Just everything is you said. We work so hard our whole lives. Okay. You know, we pay taxes on the wages pay taxes on the stuff that we buy at the store. When we buy stuff at stores, we pay taxes on that. We pay taxes on the clothing, on the food. When we go to grocery stores, we pay taxes on groceries. And it's just like they have literally taxed us to death because they know that they have control. Okay, and as soon as they 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 don't want to relinquish that control. That's the way the shadow government is. That's the way they want to relinquish control. Okay. And they do not like us talking about it. So, but I think it all ties together with the subject matter of the end of times. So I don't know. I don't know. It's just a curry old Indian thinking out loud, I guess, guys. So bad Indian, bad Indian.
Well, I had this thought the other
Uh,
day, and I don't know why it popped into my head. We
anyways,
talk about the end of times, we talk about the rapture, we talk about all this stuff, and it came to realize to me anyway that the general life expectancy for me would be 75, 78 years. So let's just say 80 years. I'm going to be 60. So here I have, thinking about it, I have 20 summers left. I have 20 Christmases, 20 more birthdays. I mean, look at how short our time is. How are we spending our time? I mean, just let that sink in. 20. I have 20 things left.
yeah, yeah. I got
That's a
less
good
than
way.
you. Oh, yeah. Yeah. But Anyways, I don't know. Tomorrow's another day, guys. Tomorrow's another day, and we will conquer it together as Weirdo Warriors do, as all the Weirdo Warriors in the chat do. Stay weird, stay strong, question everything. We will see you all tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. G and Dennis are going to go over, how to get a hold of them or when their programs are on and what they're going to be doing. And then I'll go over what programming we're going to be doing here too. Okay. So, Dennis, you want to start off?
Yeah, my show, Hunting the Shadows, will be Wednesday night at 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm going to be talking about living dinosaurs. And then Sunday night, this coming Sunday night at 9 o'clock with Grizzly Chris, Demonology Today, I'm going to be talking about the war on Christianity. So you might want to check that out. Geryl?
So we got a Piercing the Veil this Sunday, 6 p.m. Central, and we're having Tex from Texas Front Porch on. And then Monday, I'm going to be on, me and Jane will be on Texas Front Porch. This is how it worked out with our scheduling. So we'll be back to back with Tex Sunday and Monday. And then here coming up, me and Jane's going to bring back the Night Owl Lounge, which will be on midnights, and we're probably going to switch it to a Thursday, or I don't know. We haven't nailed it down yet, but I think we're thinking Thursdays instead of Wednesdays. Wednesdays are starting to get kind of busy for everybody. So start looking for the Night Owl Lounge to come back.
Sounds good. Sounds good. All right.
Yep.
And here on Malachi Strange's podcast channel, we're going to continue with our Paranormal Weekend Morning Brew shows, Saturday and Sunday mornings at 10 a.m. Then I'm going to be doing the news segment. I went over a few of the things today on Monday nights at 11. So don't forget, if you have something paranormal or just weird happen, send me an email at lakotan333@gmail.com. And if you will give me permission to use it and your name, or a surname or something, or whatever you call it, an alias, give me your alias, then we got Midnight's Monsters, which is going to be Wednesday nights at midnight, or is it Tuesday night? I don't know. Tuesday night at midnight, Eastern time, and the sub is going to be on Midnight's Monsters at midnight Eastern time on Tuesday night, which is technically Wednesday. Okay, so that's why it's confusing. We'll just say 11:59 have Midnight's Monsters. Okay, and it's going to be talked about. We're going to be talking about shapeshifters. Okay, shapeshifters. I'm not just talking about the skin word. Okay, I'm talking about all shapeshifters. Okay, so look for that right here. Same bat time, same bat channel, and stay weird, everybody. Question everything. All right. God.
Oh, I think we lost them.
Yep, I think. Well, anyway,
Yep.
he might be coming back. It's been kind of choppy today.
Yeah.
Well, we can end the broadcast. We can go ahead and do that. So we'll see you all tomorrow, 10 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time, for another round of Paranormal Morning Brew. Okay. Take care. Bye, Candias.
Bye, everyone.